I just watched the movie Twisters last night, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pleasantly surprised. Now, I went into this having no idea what it was about. I honestly thought it was gonna be like a horror movie, and I hadn't even watched the one that came out beforehand, like however many years ago that was. But thankfully, this is a movie that you can just kind of go and watch on its own, and you don't have to have any knowledge of like the previous movie to enjoy this. It's pretty much like a separate thing. Now, another thing I was worried about like going into this is that this movie, it's called Twisters, and I was worried that there's just gonna be like a tornado maybe at the start of the movie and a tornado like right at the end. But thankfully, there was actually quite a lot of tornadoes. The movie was honestly really funny and also really entertaining. There wasn't really like much of a time at all where I was really all that bored. I mean, maybe at the start I was just kind of like zoned out a little bit, and I don't know. It's just kind of what happens sometimes when I watch like movies I don't really know much about, is I just kind of have a hard time paying attention at first. But it did a pretty good job at like sucking me in. No pun intended. There's a group of really funny like rednecks in this movie that like they're storm chasers, but they also like I don't know, they're just crazy and funny. Like there's a scene where they drive right into a tornado and just shoot a firework up it, and it's an absurd scene, and there's definitely some like flawed logic there, but I forgive it. It's still pretty funny. And you know, there's also like it does a good job at balancing like the characters in the show, or I guess movie. It's not a show, but it does a good job at balancing the amount of characters, and in my opinion, I care about the characters, and it does a good job at like balancing like characters while also like showing like tornadoes and not just making it about like people. And the main character is someone who's always been interested in tornadoes, and she ends up just having like a traumatic event where her and some of her friends try to chase a tornado, and they want to tame it. Basically, like she has this weird science thing. I don't really understand it. It's probably a bunch of bullshit to be honest, but she has this science thing where she wants to like tame a tornado, but then she has a traumatic event with the tornado, and then it flashes forward into like, you know, the future, and yeah, basically she's tried to distance herself from like all the danger, and she's still like into the weather and stuff. It's just, you know, a more safe place like New York. Now, again, this is like a spoiler-free review, so I'm not gonna like start, you know, talking about the entire movie, but I was just giving like a quick rundown of, you know, the basics and stuff. And yeah, like again, this is not a movie that's like just about characters, and there's like I want to say like at least 5 different like scenes where a tornado comes in, so there's plenty of action in this movie. So if you're like wanting to see a movie that's like entertaining and you're not gonna be bored, this is definitely a movie for you. Now, as is the case with like a lot of action movies, this is definitely one where it's like there's a lot of like flaws in logic and things that don't make any sense. Like a lot of the characters, as I said earlier, like the rednecks just driving right up into the tornado. One of the things is like drill like into the ground to like basically anchor themselves in, and that might work with like a category, not category one, like a EF1, maybe EF2. Like anything stronger than that, they're gonna get blown away. They're gonna die. So there's some like logical things that are definitely wrong that you have to ignore. But personally, I was able to ignore it and still enjoy the movie. There was another thing like early on in the movie too, where like there's a point where like someone is like, overpasses are the worst place to go in a tornado, and then like a minute or two later they proceed to go right for the overpass when they were in their car. Except not only that was not the only stupid thing they did, they go out of their car and run to the overpass instead of just driving to it, which made absolutely no sense to me. But I mean, aside from that, there aren't that many other like flaws or issues that I can say that I have with this movie. I guess there is also like, you know, there's like random characters that like try to drive away from the tornado and got blown away, but it's like, of course, when like some of the main characters do it, they're fine. Like it's a little weird, doesn't make much sense to me, to be honest. And again, this is like spoiler free, but like basically there's a thing in the finale that doesn't make much sense to me. Again, I'm not gonna get into it too much, but yeah, the thing with the finale, logically, there's some things that happen that they basically would have died. That's the point I'm trying to make. Then I thought it was also interesting. One of the main / side characters has like a bit of a conflict between like, you know, saving people from the aftermath of tornadoes versus like trying to chase like an additional tornado for like research or something, with one of his friends not caring about people. And I just thought it was interesting. Sorry if you hear in like parts of this video when my voice starts acting kind of funny. It's because I'm about to like cough or something, and obviously I'm not just gonna like leave that part in the video. But yeah, I just have like a lingering cough going on. But overall, I would give this movie a good, like, with 5 being average, because again, I know a lot of people like to put like 6 or 7 as average for some reason, even though it's like out of 10, 5 is in the middle. So I like to go with 5 to give more space for like better movies and stuff. I would give it like a 7. Like it's a good movie. It has some pretty major flaws, but overall it was a really entertaining, enjoyable movie, and I would definitely recommend that you guys go watch it. It might have helped that I was drunk for part of it, but overall I would say that even if I wasn't drunk for part of it, I would have still enjoyed it. But what did you guys think? Did you guys watch this movie yet? I mean, I know it just came out yesterday, basically. But did you guys enjoy it? Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like. It helps support my channel. And please subscribe.